Carrots.
I don't even care at all.
I want that shirt.
That's cool.
I want that shirt.
So, American Vandal, Netflix original mockumentary that just came on.
Not the way I thought things were gonna go. I was gonna graduate high school, get my degree in like engineering. I know I didn't do it.
It's like a full-on mockumentary. Like, it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
But it's done so seriously that
At first you think it might be like, oh, this is like a high school documentary that these kids are doing. But
yeah,
it's too professional.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah, that was kind of something like. Obviously, the two kids in it, the two main guys, Peter and Sam, probably couldn't get the production level that's actually achieved in it.
It's really good.
But like the story of what's going on kind of keeps you enthralled. I've never been this engrossed in a story about dicks.
I know. So the story is based on Hanover High School, which is a high school in Colorado, and
California. They're in California.
California, doesn't matter. And there's a event that happens. 27 dicks got spray painted on all these faculty's cars, and Dylan Maxwell is like this kind of thug, like prankster kid who gets blamed for it, and he gets suspended. And this sparks like an outcry with the two kids, and they make a documentary and try to find out the truth of who did the dicks.
See if he actually did it, or if he's innocent, and it's really like it sucks you in. Like it's a very well made story. Like
for something as innocent as what this is, like it's just some minor vandalism. There's a lot going on.
It reminded me a lot of like forensic files, like how those are, you know. Just like, this is what happened, and at this time, and then they'll have like a little graphic, and
they have like these at the whiteboards, like the strings going, and all these different suspects, and different plot twists,
and it's a really good show. Like all the actors in it are solid. Like
they are. They're all just high school kids.
The only distracting performance was Dylan's stepdad, but that's because he was the brother on According to Jim, and I knew he was an actor. But everyone else, like, it's a bunch of like no-name people, and it actually feels real.
They feel like real high school.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of high school, and like just the workings of like the social hierarchy. And
it did.
Teachers, and this kid is the overachiever, and this kid's the burnout. You know, and that was kind of neat.
How things in high school are really minor and they don't matter, but to you in those 4 years, that's the most important thing. Like getting the at a party, or having 11 beers, or that's the most. Just they blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's just this thing of like this guy or whoever going around like painting dicks on cars, vandalizing these cars, but it turns into like this serious, like almost whodunit kind of case. And I mean, I could see where, like, realistically how it would be a bad thing, but they hype it up, but it's still really good. And like I enjoyed it a lot.
And they go through and they make this documentary about trying to find who did it, and like they have all these suspects, like the Morning Show 9, which the two documentary, Peter and Sam worked in this news show, and Dylan also worked there.
Yeah.
And so there was like a 30-minute window that he did the dicks, and he erased the footage. And there's only 9 people that had access to the footage.
So it's like, out of everyone that had access, who has an alibi, whose alibi doesn't work?
The vandal spray painted obscene images on 27 cars.
Oh my God.
I'll never understand what's so amusing about penises.
I don't know what else to say.
It's making fun of other documentaries, like Making a Murder, or the True Detective stories, but it does it so well that you care about what's actually happening about this, who's drawing the dicks.
Yeah, like, you want to know who did it, and you're kind of like just like, oh, they figured this out. And I noticed when we would watch it, we would like say something, and that would be the next thing that they would do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it predictable, but you could. It's almost like you're trying to figure it out with them, or that's how I felt. I don't know if you felt that way. I'm pretty sure you did, but I enjoyed that aspect of it, like trying to solve the mystery. with them. Not that it's like get involved, but you know, that was fun. It's a fun thing to watch.
It has some good humor in it too.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Dylan, he's really funny at times. I think he's really funny. He's like an idiot, and he has like this YouTube channel with him and his gang called the Wayback Boys. They do like pranks and stuff.
Like everyone's ran into a kid like that in high school, so it's like you can make that connection, and it's funny because it brings up memories of that.
Dylan definitely did it.
Of course he did it.
He's like a known dick drawer.
Another day, another dick.
The evidence, it's overwhelming. I spoke to expel Dylan Maxwell for vandalizing the vehicles.
Like we talked a little bit earlier, like the production side of it's really good. Like they have a lot of what I'm assuming were like drone shots of like the city that they were in, and a lot of good B-roll, and the interviews are
the graphics are good. Like how they're displaying the evidence and stuff. It's good. It's a good show.
Interviews are well shot. It's got the professionalism kind of takes away from the fact that it's these two kids doing it, but at the same time, the story is enthralling enough that you don't mind that.
Yeah.
And I mean, so a normal viewer probably wouldn't pay attention to that, but like you and I, having somewhat of a movie background, know that like that's something that like a professional crew did, and this, that, and but that's like the minor.
But all the credits have like the high school kids' names.
That was something else that I liked. It's like in association with Hanover High School, and produced by Mr. Baxter, who was the teacher of the AV club. As far as a negative, like, you have any negative about this? Something you didn't like?
A couple of episodes drew me out. Like, they focused on stuff that didn't really relate to the story.
Like, I think the second episode is completely about the guy that saw or supposedly witnessed what happened, and whether he's reliable or not. And that
it was. They could have taken that episode out. It was a good episode, but it didn't like.
You didn't need
further the case.
Yeah, you didn't need 30 minutes of that for the story. And, I mean,
what is it? 8 episodes, 30-minute episodes.
This could have been like a solid 2-hour thing.
Could have been a 2 or 3 hour documentary. And that would have been good. But I was still interested in every episode. I think the story wrapped up really well, and
it gets a little convoluted towards the end, and they start like, well, maybe it's this thing, and then that is a dead end, and maybe it's this thing, and it's almost ambiguous at the end. We won't give away any spoilers because you should definitely check this out and kind of just follow along with it.
It kind of leaves it open to you to kind of interpret.
Yeah, and it almost becomes more about an accusation about someone as opposed to whether they're guilty or innocent.
Yeah,
and how that can affect their lives, which I thought was really interesting. That reminded me a lot of The Night Of on HBO. How you never know if the guy in that is innocent or guilty, but it's kind of like how him being accused of something and going to jail really affected his life.
Even if he got off, he still has that stigma that he did this.
Yeah.
Dylan's still going to have that the rest of his life.
Right,
he drew the dicks.
They say he deleted the security footage.
There's no way.
He is the stupidest kid I've ever met.
He's trying to convince you some sort of conspiracy. There just isn't one.
Oh my God.
There's
Even if he didn't do the double dicks.
There's some funny moments from Dylan in this. He's a pretty good, whoever that actor is, he's really good. Like whenever he's like, I don't know, I'll go to Boulder, go to college and then open up a snowboard shop. Like,
get a degree in engineering.
Yeah, that's what he says. Like, like that was good stuff. That's some logic that a person like that would have.
This is the face in bread, and he gets red and shoves his head into it.
I like the part where he's like sitting in the school board meeting and he's like having to explain his YouTube videos. Like he's like, so there's this thing called farting on babies, and he has to like tell them what that is.
Yeah, we just go for babies when we fart on them. It's one of our classier videos.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
I highly recommend this show.
If you're into documentaries, even if you're not into documentaries, you're gonna like it because
documentaries are just like mysteries because it almost gets like a noir quality. I mean, it's more documentary, but it's like the mystery of it's really fun to kind of play along with. And you're like, man, I didn't know I would care that much about spray painted dicks on cars, but you really do. And so it's very, very well made. Very well made.
Really good character development too, and all the different side characters and the suspects and teachers.
They got the wrong guy. I mean, there's still someone out there
highly recommend it. Check it out. Like, it's short to watch. You could watch it in like half a day.
Yeah.
And
8 episodes, 30 minutes. It's nothing.
yeah.
And then you're gonna hear a lot about. You're gonna hear the word "dick" more than you've probably ever heard in your life.
Yeah. I was surprised by the amount of like swearing in it.
It's kind of reminds me like a Beavis and Butthead thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're talking about these dicks so much. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I understand. But